Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Slice of Film podcast. I'm your host, Katie Gilstrap, and with me tonight I have Chris Balga, the host of the World's Finest True Believers podcast, and a co-host with me on the Super Civil Servants podcast. Chris, buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Katie. Thanks for having me come on your new show. I'm excited.
I'm digging it. I'm so excited. Today we are talking about the one and only Aliens, which I have never seen before 3 days ago as of this recording. So I'm excited. Now, normally at this part of the show, we talk about the film news that's going on right now, but we're kind of recording this around the time of the coronavirus pandemic. So with that, we're just going to get to the main event. We're gonna talk straight about aliens.
Or Alien, because the second one's Aliens. You know, they didn't get too creative with that second title.
Oh my gosh. Is it Alien? Have I been saying Aliens this whole time and screwing it up? Oh my gosh. Alien. Casually fix my show notes. Okay. So, since you have seen this movie before this multiple times, and you saw the director's cut recently.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us kind of the premise, the summary for those who may not know much about Alien?
Yeah, Alien, directed by Ridley Scott. I can't even remember the year, but the basic premise is the crew of a spaceship named Nostromo is they're awakened to basically head to a quote-unquote distress call to a alien planet, and they investigate, and something happens to one of the crew members, and they bring him up on board, and it looks to be an alien is attached to him, and chaos ensues. It's just an awesome movie. This basically made Sigourney Weaver I think she was at that point became one of the first female actresses that would eventually be $1 million actress at that point, one of the first ones to do it. But This was the movie of her claim to fame.
Right. And so this movie came out in 1979.
There we go. I thought it was 79.
It's got John Hurt in it too, which I'd only ever seen John Hurt in Doctor Who. So as soon as I saw his face, I was like, Doctor Who! And then my sister was like, who? And full disclaimer to those who are listening, this is a full spoiler podcast. We're going to be talking about all sorts of things. Oh
gosh, yes.
So there's your sign. So first of all, the effects on this movie are absolutely incredible.
Just the idea of most of this was before CG. Yeah.
And so a lot of it, I kept thinking, I was like, wow, this looks incredibly like A New Hope. And then I was like, wait, they were done around the same time. It all looks really good. The ships and everything. Oh my gosh. I was like, I was entranced by those, first of all. And the fact that, you're right, there was no CG at this time.
I mean, nothing really to speak of. I think the tagline of the movie kind of said it all right there. I mean, the posters just had the alien egg and the tagline, in space, no one can hear you scream.
Oh, gosh.
And, this was a movie that no one had ever kind of seen before that made kind of sci-fi and combined sci-fi, horror, thriller, suspense all into one.
Yeah, completely. I think I screamed 4 times, scared my dogs to death.
Now you got to talk about if you remember ththose scenes you screamed at, because I'm curious.
So the first one was at the egg when they first went to the ship, and they're just John Hurt's character, I think his name's Kane.
Yep.
He was diving in on the egg, and then the thing just jumps out at him, and I screamed it there because I was like, I knew it was coming too. I absolutely knew it, and I was like,
oh yeah,
there's just nothing I could do. It scared the crap out of me. So there's that one. And then another time was when the captain, Dallas, is like they're first getting through the air tunnels, trying to capture the alien and push him out the air duct. And then the alien came out and killed him in an ambush. And I knew that one was coming too, but that was the one I screamed the loudest.
Played by the great Tom Skerritt.
Tom Skerritt is bad. I've never heard of him.
If you're a Top Gun fan, if you've ever seen Top Gun, which might be eventually on your list, Top Gun, Steel Magnolias.
See, I've seen Top Gun. Hey, but granted, the last time I saw Top Gun, it was like 6 or 7 years ago, maybe. So okay, I will have to go back and watch that because the second one is hopefully coming out in December. So
yes, hopefully. But you're right. That is a great. I just love that whole sequence when he is in the tunnels and you just hear the. I mean, not only just claustrophobic, but just you hear the motion detector going, getting ever closer, closer, and closer.
And you're just like, please run away, please run away. And he just stands there. Or actually, no, he does run away, doesn't he? He goes down the ladder, and then that's when the alien grabs him.
Yep.
And then another time was when the alien came down from the ceiling after it had gotten Kane, and it attacked Ripley. And so it came down from the ceiling, like tried to grab her.
Oh, yeah.
It died or whatever coming from the ceiling. And then when Brett died, I think. Yeah, Brett is his name. And the alien came down and grabbed him. And
oh, yeah. Well, I wrote his name down. What was it? He was one of the
engineers.
I'm looking at my notes right
Harry Dean
now.
Stanton.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, those were the 4 times that scared the crap out of me. That so much that I screamed.
Yep. I think it was like Brett or something like the name, but like going after the guy going after the cat. You know, just our first look at the alien will be affectionately known as a xenomorph, effectively in the next film. Xenomorph, yeah.
Okay. I have to remember that because I do plan to watch all of them rather reluctantly, but I will do it for the podcast.
They're all very, very different films in genre, and I'm a lover of all 3 of them. Like I grew up, you know, much too young to see these movies. My father educated me so well in doing it, but those are all scenes that a first timer definitely should jump at that point. I mean, just Ridley Scott, just the mood of the whole film was just so well done.
It was.
The timing of when there was silence versus when there was soundtrack being played, and applause, just outright just applause to the designer of kind of the look of the alien, the ship, the space jockey, H.R. Geiger. I have a book, and I think it's been out of print for many, many years. It just covers, it's called Geiger's Alien, and just his whole scrapbook of everything he designed from the ship and everything like that. I mean, it goes without saying, you know, but it does not surprise me finding out that, you know, he and the visual effects team won the Academy Award that year for best achievement in visual effects.
Yeah, it was very incredible. And so one of the things I put in my notes was that the alien had a human being inside of the costume.
Mm-hmm.
His name was, and I'm gonna totally butcher this, Balahi Badejo. He was a 26-year-old Nigerian design student. And Ridley Scott thought that his arms and legs were too long to be real, which would help aid in the illusion. So that's kind of cool because I thought the alien was too thin to put something in there, and that it was like mostly animatronic puppet type thing. So that's really cool.
Yeah, seeing some of the behind the scenes like videos they shot of it, it looks even creepier without like all the ambiance and everything like that. I mean, it is a creepy looking creature. I
Mm,
mean,
absolutely. Like, and the fact that his little mouth comes out of his
mhm.
bigger mouth, it's like when he did that in the final scene, I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna eat the cat, he's gonna eat her, like lop off a finger or something. Like,
And what makes this movie unique amongst all the other films, I mean, this just launched a genre of not only other films like in its series, but Alien vs. Predator, comic books, novels. What always you come back to Alien is that there is one alien.
mhm,
One being causes this much terror. The next one, the tagline is this time it's war.
right.
And so there's tons. I mean, they just expand this universe out. Um, but there's just something about, and it's one of those I compare it to Jaws. It's not seeing it is more terrifying. We
Mhm.
don't see much of the alien, but when we do, it is truly, truly terrifying.
Right. And like, so one of the things that I've always hated about horror movies is like the motivation behind things. So like
Hmm.
in Halloween, I hated Halloween because the primary guy doesn't have a motive. I mean, he's called by a psychologist in what's supposed to be a more realistic movie that the
Hmm.
guy's just simply pure evil. Well, and in this case, where you've got one alien who's the bad guy who's causing all of this terror, just like in Halloween, there's a better difference because it's got more motivation because like the humans have come in and kind of antagonized it away from itself. So all of that's explained. So I give it huge props for that, making sure that was in place because to me, that's what kind of creates a better horror movie. Horror films to me have always been more psychologically driven if it's got that aspect. So it
Hmm.
works really well here.
But I mean, even if like we say like the alien is the enemy or the villain in this one, the real villain is the company.
Right.
You know,
Because with the robot, like they send a robot to like get the
yeah,
alien,
yeah.
no matter what happens.
And just when Sigourney Weaver as Ripley was originally written for to be cast as a man, and it was a last minute decision by Ridley Scott to change it to a woman, but keep the name.
Ah.
And so Sigourney Weaver taking it, I mean, just her part. I mean, she is placed in charge. Like, she is not a damsel in distress by any stretch of the imagination. She is given authority, even though it's questioned at points. She stands up to Dallas as the captain, and just it's completely believable that I can see her in charge and see her being the one that's saying, you guys don't I've never seen this thing, but we're not taking this thing seriously enough.
Well, and so that's a very good point. I didn't actually catch that originally that she was supposed to be originally played by a man because like one of the things that I picked up on is originally when the 3-person team comes back, Kane, Dallas, and the other girl,
Who I
they
can't
come
stand.
back.
She's my least favorite.
Oh my
I
gosh,
was
she's
sorry.
so annoying.
I'm sorry. When Lambert finally bit the dust, I'm sorry. I was happy. I hate saying that, but I know that's the character she was playing, but my gosh, I was so happy when she bit it.
She's very annoying. Hey.
Because in one of the deleted scenes, when they come back on the ship and they're trying to investigate what's on Kane,
Mhm.
Ripley comes down and Lambert slaps the crud out of her right there, and they almost get into a fight because she is so ticked that Ripley wasn't going to let them back on the ship.
Well, and so that makes sense from Lambert's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Ripley, at that point, I was actually incredibly shocked that in that case, Ripley was not going to let them in because so many times a woman is portrayed as having the more emotional attachment. And
Mm-hmm.
in most films, if there's a woman actor and somebody's begging to be let in the door, the woman's going to let them in.
Yeah.
In this case, he may have been a robot trying to get them in no matter what. But I really liked that dynamic that Ridley chose to still have her say, no, protocol is this. I can't let you in. You've got to stay in quarantine. Like, I really genuinely appreciated that. Like, it's a rare thing you see. So, again, more props.
Yeah. But yeah, like with the company just saying when she finds out, like, go to this thing, get the sample, get the specimen, crew expendable. That line will come back in the third one. She will use that line in the third one about the history. Spoilers, she makes it to a third one. And just she will remember that just because again, it's the company that will be this overarching villain throughout this entire series.
Yeah, it's very true. You're right. I did call the alien the bad guy, but
no,
yes,
it's fine because I mean it's like, but you were right to call it like saying, well, we look at it as the bad guy because we invaded its space. It's following its natural instincts to maim and kill.
Yeah.
But I mean, just look at in one movie we're introduced to 3 types of the alien. It's called the face hugger that lays the egg in Kane's chest. We have the chest burster, bursts out of Kane's chest, which if anyone's ever seen Spaceballs, John Hurt reprises his role in the exact same sequence.
Really?
Yes,
I did not know John Hurt was in there.
Yep, he was in there for one small sequence reprising his role. And then we get the xenomorph and alien. And that's the interesting thing is from this one movie, we get now the ideas of they're all different types of aliens.
Oh, okay.
Depending on what the face hugger latches onto.
Interesting. Okay.
But we don't know that at this time for this movie. It's just haste of things to come. But in one movie, you get three types of aliens, and just every one of them just horrifying. Now, I was kind of like you. I'm a horror movie kind of person, but I like some zombie movies. I'm a huge fan of, like Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Walking Dead. Some of the monster movies, things like that. But I am not kind of a blood, gore, and guts kind of just slasher picks. Those have never interested me. I appreciate them for what they are in film, but it's just not my kind of thing. This, I think, toes a very, very hard line of what they're not, any kind of gore, violence is not done to gratuitousness.
Yeah. Like the chest burst thing, it was more, I screamed at that point.
Yeah.
Kind of, but like it was also more like kind of funny in a sense, like
yeah.
Oh my gosh, like you knew something bad was going to happen. Now something bad's going to happen. So it could have honestly been played up to that perspective, like trying to say, okay, let's maybe kind of draw into the, oh crap, we knew something bad was going to happen with him. So in the final sequence where she blows, where she's trying to blow up the ship, and get the self-destruct. So what do you think was going through her mind at that point where she's got to turn like 4 keys and flip 2 switches and type in a long password? And then she gets back to the ship with her cat and sees the alien going around it. And then she's got to run back. And then she's like late and delaying because for some reason this is the one movie that has in the last 5 minutes you can't change the self-destruct, whereas in every other movie it's like, oh yeah, you can totally prevent it up to like the last second, like it's fine, totally. So then she's 1 second late on that. Like, what goes through your mind at that point? Like,
yeah, it was, I was just wondering why she tried to go back. That was the one thing I still can't understand why she, I mean, okay, you left the cat, but Maybe it's because I'm not the biggest cat person. I don't know. I just didn't think saving the ship at that point, but maybe that's the reason. I just thought it was something deeper than that. It wasn't just because of the cat.
I don't know, like, I really thought that she was trying to just go back and say, okay, the alien must have gone into like the shuttle. It's not really an escape pod. I keep wanting to call it an escape pod. Like the alien went in there because it heard the alarm going off, so it was like, oh my gosh, I must escape. Like self-preservation.
Yeah, I mean, it went there. I don't. Obviously, she doesn't know that it's there. Like we said, I think it's because she just wanted to save the cat and didn't think she had enough time to do everything. But I mean, it keeps the tensions going. I mean, she blows at least a good minute doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess I thought that the cat was on top of the shuttle though. Or was
It might have been. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It took me a minute to kind of think. I couldn't remember. That's even more thing. Okay, so why are we stopping it? You didn't get rid of it. You didn't, kill it. So, why are we stopping it? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but one of the deleted scenes I want to bring up, because I think it's out of all the deleted scenes, this one, looking down the future, was probably a good thing they didn't include it, because it would have changed. It would set, like we call it canonize something that eventually did not happen. So and it's towards the end of the movie, we actually see what happened to Dallas and some of the others that the alien we thought killed. Well, they're not dead. They're being converted into eggs. And so a deleted scene shows Ripley finding Dallas and is being converted into one of the eggs. And he is saying, "Kill me. Kill me."
Oh my gosh. Are you serious?
And she sees one of the others. I think it was, I want to say, who was it? I think it was Brett, the first guy that was taken.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, I think he was the other one, because you can kind of make it out. And I think she actually says the name at that point. So, but yeah, so one of the others is taken, but it's clearly Dallas. You can definitely see it's Dallas, and she flames the whole thing. That was good. That wasn't included, because the next one we actually see how the eggs are really made, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. Just leave it at that. But that was probably the biggest scene that was cut that could have been in the movie and could have had some issues with the next film. So,
right.
And so it's just seeing what, it doesn't do anything, because we assume at this point that they're all dead. Like, there's nothing to do. So then leaving that out doesn't change anything. Then putting it back in changes the whole idea.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to mention that to my sister, because she was curious about both of them. She's like, the bodies haven't come back. Like, you don't believe they're dead until you see a body.
That's
like,
true.
They're
Yeah.
totally dead. So yeah, she was right.
Yep. Some of them were, and some of them were dead, because creatures got to eat.
Yep. Gosh, I'm gonna have nightmares now. Just kidding.
You could probably definitely YouTube that. Probably it's probably out there. But yeah, I thought that was probably out of all the director's cut added scenes, that was probably the most significant.
Okay.
But how did you like that twist that the alien had made it onto the escape ship? Like, you think you're all safe.
So I actually said, my sister and boyfriend were in the room, and I was like, okay, so the alien's totally on the ship. Like, there's no way this is over already. And yet I still screamed when she found the alien on the ship. I forgot about that one. So I kind of figured that the alien was on the shuttle. Mm-hmm. So that really didn't it took me by surprise, but it didn't take me by surprise.
Yeah. We kind of look at, like, you can kind of play like, how much time do I have left in the movie? Man, we got still at least a decent amount of time left. What's left?
That's kind of what I do with everything. And like when I'm by myself, I'll pause a movie when I'm like, okay, this could play out like it's the end, and then I'll pause it and say, oh no, we've got 20 minutes left. There's no way this is the end. So I would have probably done that with this one. because I would have liked to prepare myself. But um, I'm really I hate like jump scares. Jump scares are the worst thing in the world. In movies. Oh, where was I gonna go with that? So the fight scene on the shuttle, I was kind of confused at first while she was putting on the space suit, and I didn't remember seeing her close the door in it, but then suddenly like she steps out and like opens the door with the spacesuit on.
Yeah.
So that was like wait, did I miss something there? I think I did though. And then I mean, how else really was she gonna get rid of it other than opening the airlock?
Yep. And just firing at it and then turning on the jets.
Yeah. I was surprised that they had a harpoon. I would have thought that there would have been something a little bit better than that on the shuttle.
Well, remember, I mean, just the whole Nostromo and thing. I mean, they're miners. They're getting minerals and stuff like that, so they don't have too much equipment. I mean, that'll drastically change in the next one. Like the next one is a horror / action movie. Like, and so you will see a very big. You'll still have your jump scares, but you will see a very big tonal shift. So you see sometimes in the Alien fan community, you have people who like Alien but love Aliens, and then you have the opposite. Where people have love Alien a lot more than Aliens because they like the idea of the isolation. They like it's one alien. You don't know what's around the corner. It just like there are people on both sides of the aisle. And then the third one's just viscerally debated in the community. But that's a story for another day.
Okay. I'll definitely have to give that one a look and then have you back so we can discuss the second one.
No, definitely. But when she also be on the lookout for a callback, her ending lines, just talking about like who's dead, the ship destroyed. With any luck, I'll be picked up by the company in a few weeks.
Yeah,
that will also come back. That recording will come back.
Duly noted.
But it's just.
I think Aliens is actually on HBO, so I could give it a watch.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. If it's not on it, it should be somewhere out there. But I mean, just so much. I mean, just like you said, like you mentioned before, the twist of Ash, the android being. I mean, just a commentary on that.
Yeah. I knew he was acting off. I did not expect him to be a robot. But I was like, I mean, come on, I know you're a doctor, man, but like, isn't the doctor's first priority to like help people and not like
not an android?
Say, screw it.
Not an android. Not this type of android. We're not following the 3 laws on this one.
No, so that one was unexpected. But it made more sense as like the mother kind of told her the order information. I was surprised she had to. Well, okay, I say I was surprised, but it makes sense like why she had to go through so many like override protocols to get to the order itself. Because I mean, obviously, if you're gonna tell someone to kill people to get something back, then you don't want anyone to know. But then it was really scary that he just entered the computer room because saying mother is really weird. Because I was like, wait, so Dallas was the only one allowed to go in originally. Like Ripley specifically says that, like, now I finally have access to mother, so now you're gonna pay.
Yep.
But then he gets access to mother. I was confused.
Yeah.
And maybe that was an override protocol with the whole order thing.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, he's the one who's supposed to be ensuring that the xenomorph makes it back to Earth for the company to weaponize, which, will be a theme throughout the movies, is trying to weaponize these creatures.
Mm. When didn't they learn anything from Jurassic Park? You can't bring something into the world that you don't know anything about.
Yeah, yeah, they never learn in these movies, and people say, "Why do you keep coming back to them? They keep on having the same problems." I said, "I know, but you get to see different ways of how they're screwing it up."
Very true. Very true. I think we hit everything I kind of want to talk about.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about anything else?
No, I think, I mean, again, if you like I said, I mean, as I said before, this is, yes, it's sci-fi, it's horror, it's suspense. It is going to make you jump, as Katie proved when, you know. But to your point, you're not a huge horror fan either. But I mean, it sounds like you really did enjoy this movie, at least enough to give it a shot for the sequels.
Yeah, I did. I will be taking another look at this one in depth for Full Circle Cinema, writing a review for it. So you can make sure to check that out when you listen to this, because it'll be up by then. Listeners everywhere. So yeah, I think the effects and the motivational aspects in this really got me to pull me back in, because obviously, like, there's a lot of Halloween sequels. I've only ever seen the first one. So it definitely did it for me to pull me back in.
Yeah, and I think with this kind of movie, and I think it goes to the point of some people who like the first one versus the second one, or vice versa. The second one, where the first one is like, second one's more action. This is you have to be patient. You have to you have to give yourself to this movie to understand that there are things you have to want to see, understand things lurking around the corner. You have to open yourself. If you're looking for action every single beat, you're probably not going to get that until probably after you get through the first 45 minutes. That doesn't start happening. So if you're not going to be patient for that's not going to do it. But I remember, until it was recently shut down and repurposed, my favorite part, going to Walt Disney World and Hollywood Studios, the Great Movie Ride, they had Alien in the Great Movie Ride, and that was my favorite part of the Great Movie Ride, because they transported you right into the Nostromo, and the aliens are there. You see Sigourney Weaver. It's just like, that was. And then it followed up on my other favorite in Raiders of the Lost Ark. So it was just like a twofer. It's like my best part of this whole sequence, but it was so cool because that's how big this movie was. Not only the lead female in Sigourney Weaver, but just the impact this movie had on changing sci-fi horror for generations.
Awesome. That's about all I got to say to that. Like, that's really cool. No, and I'm excited to check out everything else, and maybe I think there's 5 movies in this franchise.
There are, yes, you got Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, which I've already told you my opinion on that. I don't acknowledge that. Then you have Ridley Scott has come back to do, he considers the continuation, or the people call it the prequels. You have Prometheus and then Alien Covenant. Both of those have also gotten some, dividing the fan community in different ways. So so yeah, in this kind of alien genre, yes, you have you have 6 films. And then they've also combined it, Alien versus Predator. I think I believe they've had 2 movies of that. Again, slews of comics produced by Dark Horse. Again, this is a cash cow of a series that has stood the test of time.
Cool. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So on that note, we're going to take a quick break to support the podcast, listen to an ad, and we're back. Thanks for listening to the ad, y'all. I appreciate it. So now we're going to go into the last part of the show. We're going to talk about the last 3 movies that each of us have watched, and would we recommend them to you or not? So, Chris, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters, but my wife didn't get to see it, so we watched it this past weekend for dinner, and that would be Rian Johnson's Knives Out. Great. If you like whodunits and comedy, it's great. I'm a huge fan of that. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, the nice guys. Just all kinds of just. He does a great job, and I would love to see this as a series. Daniel Craig's in it as one of the lead detectives.
Does a great job.
Does an awesome job, and it's just a great film. So, I know sometimes Ryan Johnson gets a little flack for Last Jedi and stuff like this, but give this movie a chance. It is a really fun time.
So one of the recent ones I watched was yesterday. It's the movie about this guy. He gets into an accident. He's trying to become a popular musical artist. Is down on his luck. And then the whole world, except for a couple people, forget about the Beatles after he gets into his accident.
Oh, I just saw this too.
He and his best friend are like going back. They used to say Beatles stuff all the time, and he kind of realizes it when she doesn't recognize a saying from one of the songs. Ed Sheeran's in it. He kind of goes through everything and is pulling all of the Beatles songs and kind of becoming a huge hit. And I'll save the rest for you to watch it later. Because
it's a really good movie. Really good movie.
It actually got me more into listening to the Beatles because I never understood kind of the popularity, but as I listened to the songs like come through during the movie, I was like, oh, you know what? I could listen to that. So
yeah. Oh, I'm a huge Beatles fan, so yeah, it doesn't take to convince me.
But good movie. Highly recommend.
So yeah, my next one I saw was the movie Brightburn, directed by James Gunn. And very simply put, imagine if you take the Superman story, take it cover by cover, and take the ever small twist of he is the kid Kal-El, or not Kal-El, is a different name in this movie, but the kid is not necessarily from a race that wants to have Superman just be a good guy and give them hope. No, he is meant to conquer. And what happens when you take that spin and put it on this kid? It is, oh my gosh, it's a good horror movie, but my goodness, I don't know. I mean, I would love to see this as a franchise because the end of the movie, what they hint towards, oh my gosh. I mean, it's just awesome. As a comic book fan, bravo, James Gunn, for taking Superman and making him a true bad guy.
That one is actually on my list. I completely forgot about it. But with all
it can get pretty gory at times, but it's just it's you accept that because it's James Gunn. Right. That's just how he does certain things with horror. So
the next one on my list is Trolls World Tour. This was the DreamWorks animation film that was originally scheduled to go into theaters. My sister's a huge fan, so we had to rent it. It was okay. It could have definitely stuck to a more thorough message throughout. My good friend Mark Tan, who's also a writer for Full Circle Cinema, he did a full review on it. Said a lot of good things, a lot of things I really agree with. It represented country music, first of all, absolutely horrifically. Really, this is how country music is going to be represented in a film that's supposed to be about all of the musics. So that's some of my biggest gripes with it. It's cute. It works for a first watch. Probably on retrospect, it won't work as well for some people. But I mean, hey, if you've got kids right now and they're bored out of their mind, it might be a good investment because they'll get up and dance a lot and maybe be distracted. So,
yep. But my last film I've seen recently is it's been almost a decade since I'd seen it, but I finally got a copy of it on Blu-ray, and I'm a huge King Arthur fan. Just the whole Legend King Arthur, everything. I've probably read L'Amour to Arthur so many different times, but the movie Excalibur, so probably the best adaptation of the book L'Amour to Arthur, detailing the legend of King Arthur from beginning to end. Great acting, just so many early roles. Patrick Stewart's in it, Liam Neeson's in it. Just so many great things. And for those of us who are Batman versus Superman fans, Zack Snyder fans, he uses a lot, and I mean a lot, of callbacks in Batman versus Superman to Excalibur. Not outside of the movie theater where Bruce's parents are murdered is showing Excalibur. It's more than just that. It was seeing it for the first time in a long time. There were so many different callbacks to it. But great. If you're a King Arthur fan, if you hadn't seen Excalibur, it was made in the 80s. If you can get past that, then you will be in for a great time.
So spoiler alert for those listening, I'm not a huge Batman versus Superman person.
That's okay.
So, but we'll hopefully get to that later. We'll talk about it. So my final movie that I have on my list of recent watches is Hall Pass. This has Owen Wilson, and I can't remember the other guy's name.
Luke.
Is it Luke?
Owen Wilson. No, it's not Ed Helms. I know you're talking about. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, I know you're talking about.
I'm looking it up now. Owen Wilson and Jason. Oh gosh.
Jason Statham. Yeah, he's married to Olivia Wilde.
No, it's
Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah,
Sudeikis.
That guy.
Sudeikis. Yep. Married to Olivia Wilde.
I could not even begin to say his name. I was like, wait, how am I gonna say this? Oh, sorry, Jason, if you're listening. You're probably not. But the movie definitely has a lot of cringe in it. But it was a good laugh. Very good love story in the end. I liked how one couple did not actually intend to do a hall pass and then ended up with a hall pass and then the other did. That's probably a spoiler, but I mean, it was really cute in the end. Everything worked out. Definitely a lot of cringe in it, though.
Some great one-liners, though. Some great one-liners.
I would agree. And on that note, Chris, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's it. But thank you so much, and congratulations on the new show. I'm glad I got to be a part of it. I look forward to coming back for Alien and other Aliens and other films at that point. But yeah, no, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And no problem. You're welcome back anytime. Like I said, yeah, I'm excited and clearly very, very nervous. I don't know how much I'm going to leave in of this, but we'll see what happens. And on that note, so Chris, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter. I'm at Chris Balga. And again, my show is World's Finest True Believers. And you can follow that on Twitter at Finest Believers.
Awesome sauce. You can find my personal Twitter on Twitter, obviously, at Gilstrap13. And this podcast you can find on Twitter as well. It's at Slice of Film 1. And you can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, and Podchaser. So make sure whatever your favorite platform is, you go find us there, give us a subscribe, and give us a listen. I will, of course, link everything down in the description box below. Oh, and you can also find our podcast, Super Civil Servants, on the Twitter as well. That's SCS Podcast 1, I believe. We'll double check that. And so, yeah, so give us a follow there. Reach out if you ever want to talk about a movie. Let us know. Let me know if you have a movie you want me to watch. If you want to come on and talk about it, definitely reach out. I'm always game for anything. But on that note, have a good day or night, whatever time of day y'all are listening. And we'll see y'all next time.
Catch you later.